They had the fan, they had the looks, they had the machine behind them. But what Mindless Behavior didn't have was protection. Not from the fame, not from the people pulling the string, and definitely not from each other. At the height of their fame, they were America's answer to B2K for a new generation. 4 young boys molded into stars before they even knew who they were. But while they were dancing on stage and posing for photo shoots, something much darker was happening behind the scenes. This is the story of how Mindless Behavior became the next big thing and how it all crumbled from the inside. In 2008, a group of music executives decided it was time to bring back the teen R&B boy band wave. Walter Millsap III, Keisha Gamble, Vincent Herbert, and choreographer Dave Scott came together with a single mission: build the next tween sensation from the ground up. And they didn't leave anything to chance. They held auditions in Los Angeles and handpicked boys not just for talent, but for their look, their ability to dance, and most importantly, their ability to be molded. But what's striking is how little they focused on actual singing. That detail becomes crucial later. Jacob Perez, nicknamed Princeton, was already working as a child model and dancer. He had the look, the experience, and a cool factor the team couldn't ignore. Next came Ray Ray, a street dancer from Tommy the Clown's crew. Rock Royal, real name Crisanto August, struggled with choreography but had a presence they thought could be groomed. The trio had style but no lead vocalist. Enter Prodigy, real name Craig Crippen Jr., discovered on YouTube by choreographer Dave Scott. He wasn't just a dancer, he could sing, and just like that, the quartet was complete, the final piece of the puzzle. But he didn't come from LA, he was from Philly, and when they brought him to California to join the group, they didn't bring his parents. That decision would have devastating consequences. The group was signed to Kenneth Creer, a big-time manager who had worked with Janet Jackson and Drew Hill. They moved into Keisha Gamble's home where they lived together and began artist development, homeschooling, workout routines, and 8-hour rehearsals every day. Each member was given a persona: Ray Ray with his goggles and pigtails, Princeton with his shades and afro, Rock with his ponytail and Civil War hat, and Prodigy with a simpler look. But even then, Prodigy carried most of the vocals. The group was manufactured, and it worked. In 2010, they began performing locally and built buzz through school tours and showcases. That same year, they signed with Vince Herbert's Streamline Records under Interscope. Their debut single, My Girl, didn't hit the Hot 100, but it climbed the R&B charts. They toured with the Backstreet Boys, opened for Justin Bieber, and even performed overseas with Jason Derulo. The fan base, mainly young black girls, was growing fast, and the team made sure to keep up the momentum with live streams, behind-the-scenes vlog, and appearances on shows like 106 and Park. They were everywhere. By the time they dropped their second single, Mrs. Right, featuring Diggy Simmons, they had a real hit. The video had cameos from LL Cool J and Mike Epps. Their debut album, A One Girl, debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200. They toured with Tyga, Jacob Lattimore, and OMG Girls. 4 different CD covers were released for each member. But if you listened closely, the entire album was drenched in auto-tune, and Prodigy was doing almost all of the vocal work. That imbalance was something fans didn't notice at first, but would become more obvious later. Then came the BET Award. Mindless Behavior presented an award with Mike Epps and made a joke about Lauryn Hill's tax problems. Beyoncé, who won the award, was reportedly furious. The group apologized on Twitter, but the damage was done. The joke likely came from BET's teleprompter, but fans saw it as a red flag. Was the team putting these young boys in situations they weren't ready for? Still, the boys pushed forward. They headlined their own #1 girl tour. Their sophomore album, All Around the World, came with a concert documentary and debuted at number 6 on Billboard. But something had shifted. Prodigy was acting different, distant, detached. Fans noticed he wasn't in certain performances. At shows, the other members would lip sync to his vocals or just dance awkwardly while his parts played. Then came the infamous Omaha performance. Only 3 members showed up. The show lasted 8 minutes and the sound kept cutting out. Parents were furious. Kids were crying. Then came the bombshell. In November 2013, Prodigy's mom announced he had left the group. Fans were confused and hurt. Rumors flew that Jacob Lattimore was being courted to replace him. Eventually, 16-year-old Elijah Johnson, formerly of Kids Bop and The Lion King, was added to the group, but nothing felt the same. Prodigy started posting solo music and eventually opened up about why he left, and what he said shocked everyone. He wasn't just overworked, he was mistreated. He said he was called names by the adults around him, that they tried to turn the other members against him. He was depressed, isolated, and missing his family. He claimed Keisha Gamble, the woman they lived with, disciplined him physically. One story involved her making him eat a plate full of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches surrounded by candy as punishment. Another claim was that he was used as a placeholder, brought back to the group temporarily just to distract from Rock Royal's legal issues. And Rock had plenty. In 2014, a video went viral of him shirtless and assaulting a man over a $10 debt. He posted it to his own Instagram. Later that year, he was accused of stealing a car during a studio session and arrested for robbery and battery. There were whispers about gang activity. He was kicked out of the group. Prodigy returned briefly, but left again, saying management used him to buy time while they trained new replacements. In interviews, he said he was mentally drained and spiritually broken. By 2015, the group had been through more lineup changes than fans could keep up with. Princeton was the only original member still standing. The music quality dropped. The production budgets got smaller. Ray left, citing creative differences and accusing Sony of sabotaging his solo career. He said they blocked roles he'd landed on Netflix's The Get Down and Static Shock. According to Ray, the label tried to sign Prodigy as a solo act behind their back, a breach of contract that gave the group the legal out they needed to leave Interscope. They signed to Sony, then left again, then floated in limbo. Their third album, Number Official MB Music, barely made a splash. A tour was announced and quickly canceled. At this point, it was clear Mindless Behavior wasn't coming back. The magic was gone. Their audience had grown up. Their image, once innocent and accessible, had become complicated. Members were getting tattoos, having kids, and in Rock's case, facing prison time. Behind the scenes, it became clear that the boys weren't getting paid what they were owed. Prodigy said in a live stream that he didn't even get the full payment from the 8 shows he returned for. He felt used. He said he carried the group vocal, but took the blame when things went wrong. He said he was the only one from the East Coast, separated from his family, trying to make it work, but eventually he realized he was just a product. Ray later said they lived like robots. Their lives were scheduled down to the minute. Wake up, eat, rehearse, work out, homeschool, more rehearsal, studio, press, no breaks, no room to be kids. When he got older, he looked back and said the team was more focused on control than care. Even when they stayed at R. Kelly's house during production sessions, the boys felt like they were being molded into something they didn't want to be. Songs about hickeys and grown-up topics made no sense to a group barely entering adulthood. In 2017, Mindless Behavior officially dissolved. Rock Royal is still serving time in prison. Princeton has continued with music sporadically. Ray and Prodigy occasionally post on social media, but there's been no real reunion. Just broken pieces scattered across the internet, each member carrying their own version of the story. The truth, Mindless Behavior wasn't just a group. They were a product of the machine, a test tube experiment to see if lightning could strike twice after B2K. And it did, for a moment. But when the lights went out and the fans moved on, what was left were 4 young men trying to put the pieces of their childhood back together. This wasn't just a fall from fame. It was a cautionary tale about what happens when the music industry sees kids as merchandise, about what happens when dreams are packaged, sold, and then abandoned. Mindless Behavior was never mindless. They were just kids doing what they were told. And now, years later, they're finally telling their truth. So what do you think? Did the industry fail these boys? Or was this the price of fame all along? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories that uncover what really happens behind the scenes, don't forget to like and subscribe.